We are talking with Samantha Brown, who, of course, is the host of the show on American Public Television, Samantha Brown's Places to Love. And Samantha, if I may, I think what makes your show unique, obviously, is you. People are getting a sense of that now. And I mean, in saying that you don't play the role of the know-it-all host with the encyclopedic knowledge of everything. And you're definitely not the naive, I'm overwhelmed by the challenges of travel, damsel in distress. You are thoughtful, you're informative, but mostly, and this is what I love about you, you are curious and you are game. I mean, you come to play, you come to learn, you come to engage. In a way that makes great TV. So there's a question here. Here's the question. I know you have a background in drama. You're an actress. So is that persona really you, or is it a role that you have learned to play beautifully on television?
Well, thank you very much for all those compliments. I'm no longer an actress. I was a long time ago, about 22 years ago. But no, I am who I am. But I would say what a background in the arts helped me do in terms of acting is understand that one thing you learn as an actor is that whenever you're in a play, the mission, your goal is in the other person. It's never about you. Another rule of acting is that you never judge. You're not there to judge. You're there to fulfill your motivation. And again, the motivation is always in the other person. And I take that to heart when it is, even though my name is on the title of the show, Samantha Brown's Places to Love, the show is not about me. It is about the other person. And it's what I do to connect with that person that I hope people are watching. Because whenever we travel, we do have to meet people halfway. That's harder to do when you are in foreign countries and there's a language barrier and a culture difference. But when you do meet someone halfway, when your intention is in the other person, you have again, it's more personal travels. It's not for everybody. Maybe not everybody wants to do this, but I have always been fascinated by other people's lives. And I learned this very right at the beginning of my career, which was spent going throughout Europe. And I would spend my days shooting in all the greatest hits, all the must-sees, the castles, the cathedrals, the monuments, the museums. And I was so lonely, I didn't want my job anymore. I didn't think that, travel is okay, but if this is it, it's not something I really deeply enjoy, especially not enough to be away 220 days out of the year. And then I just really zoned in on people. People changed who I was, and I just wanted to know more about them. And so just traveling is about enjoying people's everyday lives in another part of the world, which is extraordinary. So I really love people. I could care less about, I shouldn't say this, the Colosseum in Rome or the Louvre in Paris. None of that really matters to me. It's about who are the people. And because don't we live in a great world that we're all so different, but how do I get to know them?
And, as Mark said, that's why you, Samantha, that's why you connect with us, because you've got so much more depth than like a slideshow of your latest trip. You do connect with the people, and we are the people. And I wonder if that's part of the lure that brought you to public television. Growing Boulder has a show on public TV as well. And we found the audience there is really inquisitive, anxious for adventure and exploration, which would seem to make it just a perfect landing place for you as well. Is that part of what drew you to public TV?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Absolutely. There is no better audience. There's no better audience. And I've been on some of the, Discovery Channel, Travel Channel, and the audience of public television, oh my gosh. One thing I love about them as travelers is they've already traveled everywhere. They've already gone to Paris. They've already done, now they want to say, well, what else is there? Or if I go back to Paris, what else? What are the unknowns? What are the little spots? They've already done the big things, right? Most of them anyway. And so even if they haven't, those big things that they see and travel all the time, that's easily something they could research on their own online and get all that information online. Our role, of course, as you know, is to bring them something more. Bring them something that makes them feel that they get it, that they've met someone, that they've grown. That's such a big theme of ours, is how do we learn from other people? And of course, then through that, we learn about ourselves. So yeah, the audience of public television, oh my gosh, I love talking to, like I'm talking to people now, setting up scenes and segments, and I introduce myself and say what we do, and say, and I get to tell them, just so you know, this is for public television, and there is no subject that is considered as long as you are presenting it in an intelligent, informative way. There are so many great conversations we can have on camera, and that wasn't the case in my previous career with other networks.
The final episode in season 4 of your show is called My Tips on How to Make Travel Count. It's your best advice based upon your over 20 years of travel. So I hope we've inspired people to watch the entire episode. But can you share one or two of those tips with us today, Samantha, from your 22 years of travel?
Absolutely. So one of my favorite tips that I've learned is I create a ritual. So wherever I travel to, if I'm there for more than 2 or 3 days, I do one thing, the same time every single day. And so for me, it's a coffee shop that I'm going to begin my day at. It's not at the hotel. I never have coffee at I have 1 cup of coffee at my hotel, and then I head out just to wake up. But then I sit down in that cafe, and that's where I go back every day. And there's a few things that allows you to do. One, everyone in travel tells you that you've got to do 10 different things a day and never go down the same road twice. And I think if that becomes your mentality or your approach to travel, you become really bullied by time. And all about travel is about, don't bully me, right? I want to have my time. I really want to stretch it out. And then the other thing it does is it helps you be a part of a more local scene. You get to feel the ebb and flow of a neighborhood better than if you were staying in your hotel or if you were in different cafes every single day. And I had so many people respond to me saying that they do that. And then sure enough, on like the 5th day, the barista knows your order. They know what you want. You feel like $1 million because you feel like a local. The other thing that creating a ritual does is once you get really comfortable in a space, I feel like that's when you feel relaxed enough to turn to someone next to you and talk. And I think talking to people is really important. I think talking to strangers is one of the most important things you can do when you travel, but it's tough. And I think it needs a little bit of you relaxing. So again, creating a ritual really slows down time. It makes it your own. It allows you to relax and feel more a part of everyday life. And it also gives you that moment to open up to others and learn like maybe where you should go to lunch or what you should do next, or just have a pleasant conversation. But just creating a ritual will change your travel experience.
I do have a follow-up question to that, Bill, if I may, because I saw Samantha's Facebook post about that. It has a photo of Samantha. You're recording the on-camera part of that episode. And in the post, you write, A-cam, Kevin O'Leary, B-cam, Kevin O'Leary, gaffer, Kevin O'Leary, teleprompter, Kevin O'Leary, craft services, Kevin O'Leary. You really put that Kevin O'Leary guy to work, don't you?
He's been an intern that I married about 15 years ago. So the price is right, you know. Kevin O'Leary, not to be confused with the Kevin O'Leary on Shark Tank, who sometimes we get calls about him like, you're married to him? No, I'm not. He's my own Kevin O'Leary. But yeah, we're a great team. And we're just able to produce great TV content together.
And it's got to be a great blessing because, you know, the few times I travel without loved ones, it's great to be there, but you always think, oh my gosh, I wish I could share this. It seems like, you're always sharing it, aren't you? Yeah,
definitely. And believe me, now there are times where I'm like, I really would like to be alone now doing my job. But a lot of people ask me, like, when are you going to do a show about family travel? I'm like, never. Are you kidding me? I'm not bringing my kids. That's when I get to, feel like I know what I'm doing. Kids make you feel like you have no idea what you're doing. And so, it's nice to have someone who understands that. He's a huge traveler as well. He's traveled all around the world, even before he met me. And so to bring our passions together to really create what we consider to be a very unique travel show with a different approach than a lot of different travel shows. He's absolutely a part of that.
It's really interesting, and it's such a great connection too. And just so I get the record straight, which Kevin did you take to Key West? You know, they
Not
say
Shark
that,
Tank.
they say that travel is a great teacher, and it's undisputable. Is there, in light of that, is there some sort of like a broad strokes takeaway about life in general that you can share with us? What would you say the moral to this story is that we're all living and searching for?
You know, it's something that I actually close it out in my Tips to Make Travel Count episode. And I think what makes travel so special, because we get that question a lot, why travel? Why is it important? And maybe less so after a pandemic really stopped. We have a loss of travel. So now we realize, oh, if we don't travel, we don't connect with our loved ones. We don't meet new people. We don't kind of stretch outside our own comfort zone. So travel has absolutely become a necessity. But one thing that travel marks is a fresh start, right? It's something new. It's something to look forward to even before we go. And it's a fresh start, whether we go an hour from our home for a weekend trip or go 10,000 miles away for 2 weeks. It's a new beginning. And as human beings, we are all on this spiritual journey, as it were, to understand more about ourselves, who we are as people. And that means that we're a better person for ourselves, for our family, for our community. And nothing gives us that opportunity like travel. But it's about being somewhere new, different, away from home, and just feeling like I've got this.
Samantha Brown, thank you so much, not just for what you do, but how you do it, because we talk a lot about the value of getting out of our comfort zone through travel. And you are as good as it gets, I think, at putting people in a comfort zone when they are out of their comfort zone. Not an easy thing to do. So, folks, be sure to check out Samantha Brown's Places to Love. It's on public broadcasting stations all over the country. You can actually watch previous episodes on her website, which is Samantha-Brown.com. You can check her out on Samantha Brown Travels on Instagram and also on Facebook. Samantha, it's been fun. Thank you so much.
The pleasure has been mine. Thank you so much for having me on.